Hello. Hello, hello. Howdy, hi, welcome. Come on in. Hang on, I'm a little quiet. Let me boost my audio a little bit. Cause we're doing art today. Wow! Finally, I actually started drawing these fuckos. Oh, I don't know where you guys are. Let me move you, make you visible, and put you somewhere useful. Oh, you're behind me. That's why I can't see. I don't know how. I feel like every single time I stream art, you all have less and less space where you can go, and you're always invisible anyway. And so, fighting with chat and making sure you guys can be seen is the hardest part about streaming. But yeah, I'm finally. Hang on, I'm yelling because I've got two headphones in. Let me. Maybe yelling would be a good idea, but I don't want to blow out my throat trying to be heard because I have to keep my mic over here. The mic's all the fuck over there, as if I'm not quiet enough as it is. Anyway, we're drawing our villagers. If you've been keeping up with Twins Plays Animal Crossing, you'll know about them, and you should watch those anyway because they're fun. But first up, we're going in order, which means we're starting with Reneigh. And Reneigh will be easy. Horsies are easy. Because the mane translates really well into hair. I want her facing us a little bit more than how she is in her artwork here, but I think this is a pretty solid pose otherwise. My brush just never feels big enough these days. Let's really crank that shit. Alright. Crank that shit. Draws an incredibly minuscule line. Hang on. I need to actually figure out her center point so I can draw her right. Okay, cool, great. I don't know how long I'm gonna be doing art for. You can really only do art for so long before your back starts hurting too bad. But so I'd like to at least draw Reneigh and Sprocket. The two starting villagers. Cute. Cute little pose. And I get to cheat with her because, like, nobody else is in a fun angle. Everyone else is just staring straight at you. You got any games on your phone? Kind of a deal. I always make legs too long. I always do. Like, look at that. That's more than the rest of her body. I've been doing my best to try to keep that consistent, but meh. I think it'd be fun if I also make these like drawn outs. No. Yeah, drawn outs. Remember drawn out? Remember how I used to do those? I think it'd be fun if I did that with these. Take this footage and edit it for fun little videos. We'll see. I'm not recording my footage right now, which means getting the footage can be a pain later, but whatever. That's for future twins to deal with. I remember drawing out, I remember! Today is a holiday in the US. Yeah, it's Memorial Day. That hand is so bad. That hand was bad in like 14 different ways. Hang on. Okay, I needed to just actually draw a good hand. It was annoying me. But yeah, it's Memorial Day. I'm fairly certain. I'm only fairly certain because I do not work on Mondays anyway, so... like, my grandma texts me this morning. And she's like, "Good morning, hope you have a good day off," and I didn't have the heart to tell her that I just don't work on Mondays. So it's like, thanks Grandma. I love you. Great. Cool. Wait. Need water. The legs longer. I've seen an artist draw, and this isn't me trying to put them on blast. I couldn't even tell you what their name was, but it's like they've got a person, you know. And it was like, oh, that's cute. And then you click on like the full thing, and I was like, I think, you know, I respect trying to have like a really unique style and sense of aesthetic. This is a difficult one to get into. I don't know. Playing with proportions can be a dangerous game, because if you're not careful, it can just end up looking wrong, rather than looking like a stylized, like, I chose to have it be like this, you know? So, gotta do your best. I actually wish I had Reneigh at another angle. Let me Google her really quick. Just to see if I can get her hair. Animal Crossing Reneigh. I spelled it wrong. That's fine. Just, yeah, because her hair is pretty dang cute, and I'd like to get it right. So... Nope, she exclusively faces that direction. She has never once looked to the right. Well, I guess I'll just do my best. We'll focus on the face instead, which I think will be important. The fun part is coloring, as always. I'm gonna get her a bigger nose. You know, 'cause horsey. And I'll draw both eyes, but I think the one over here is gonna be pretty dang obscured. Put my reference a little bit closer so I can see what the fuck I'm doing, maybe. And not having to scroll all the way across the whole world to get a look at my reference. That eye is too big. I'm focusing on eyelashes, you know how it be. Nice. Cute. And we'll do this side. Also cute. Are they even? I don't know. That looks terrible. That looks awful. That looks bad. I really went from cute to yuck instantaneously. Hang on, I need to go in planning her actual eye shape. Also, they're kind of close together. I don't know. We'll edit it all in post. There we go. 'Cause she's got these, like, you know, almond-shaped eyes that I actually want to get the proper shape of. They are way too fucking close. I'm focusing. Sorry. I know I tend to apologize for the lack of funny, interesting things to say, but, I wanted to really not fuck up her face. And big ol' eyes. There we go. We made it work. We figured it out. Am I too quiet? I know I'm facing away from my mic a lot to draw, so let me know if I'm too quiet. Today do be Labor Day. Which means nobody's at home watching streams. Everyone's instead off having fun vacationing. This eye is kind of crazy, but it will end up pretty covered by her hair, so we'll leave it for now. Let's actually get that hair going. I'm doing it on another layer, so I don't fuck myself. Nope. Okay, that's a fine face. Okay. Step 1. Find her ear. Ears are the same... They match up with your nose. Just in case you didn't know, look at yourself in the mirror. You'll see your nose. And then the side of your head. And the top of your nose is where your ear meets your head. And then the bottom of your nose is also where your ear meets your head. And then you've got your ear. That's how you make your ears look right. There's a flaming hot tip. I used to have the habit of drawing ears really high. So, damn, you're at work. Doesn't it suck? Doesn't it suck super bad when you are one of the people who it's like, Happy Labor Day, and it's like, not for me. You know? I've been that before, and it does suck super duper bad. So, Renee's got a cool hip kind of shaved head sort of a deal. Superfly. Ooh, what a queen! And then we got cool. Hell yeah! That's my horse. That's my horse girl. We're gonna ignore the rest of her mane. Because I think this cool shaved head look is just more accurate to the vibe of the character. Nice. Oh, I do want to make sure I get her earrings in, too. Nice, nice, nice. We see no eyebrows. I'm going to give her some cool eyebrows. I'm going to give her... Yeah. She's so hip! So hip and fly! Point and laugh at the small ear haver. That is a small ear. I should actually... I do want to give her bigger ears. Because she a horsey. And they look like that. Big ass horsey ears. So let's just make that a little do-do-do-do-do-do. And maybe, yeah, that's good. And then... kind of just... Wow! Alright! Cool, and now, we don't need to worry about her outfit too much because they actually wear outfits. Do I want this to be a dress or a shirt, though? I think... a cute little dress. That was kind of a fun element to previous Animal Crossings, because everyone, you know, they only had shirts, so you kind of got to be a little bit more creative in that regard. But no one's stopping you, you know. If I wanted this to be a shirt, I could do it. If I wanted it to be a suit somehow, I could do it. The hard part about doing Animal Crossing fan art is that the shirts actually look good, so it forces you to learn how to draw shirts. Let me make sure I know where her body is. And some straps for her cute, breezy, cute ass little dress that she's got. What if we have actually, I thought of something cute. Just like a little bit of hair back here. Oh my god. I charmed myself. She's so cool. So fetch. She is so fetch. Reneigh is one of the few villagers introduced to New Horizons before the DLC. It's true. I thought I remembered that. It's probably why she's at this cool angle instead of, just front-facing like everyone else. Oh, I'll regale you actually with stories of Twins played Animal Crossing yesterday and what happened. So, what happened is, I've obtained a new villager that happened the day before. Petrie, she is a snooty little mouse, one of the new villagers. Nifty, and that means, I'm like, cool, that means now, that hand's a little crazy. She's a horse. She can have crazy hands. No, it's just a little crazy. And so I'm like, now I get my cranky villager. Yeah, I like cranky villagers. They're my favorite villager type. And so I go expediting. I go on another expedition with my Nook Miles tickets, and I'm like, and then I'll find a cranky villager. And instead I found a cute little female koala, not a cranky villager. And I'm like, huh. Well, and so I looked it up, and cranky is the one villager type you're not guaranteed to obtain. And I'm like, but I want. And so I went on a bit of a hunting spree to see if I could find a cranky villager. And technically I did find one. But it was Apollo. The bald eagle, who you might remember, I actually had in my, my Animal Crossing village. A million years ago, I did a what happens in Animal Crossing, in a month of Animal Crossing video, on Twins Inc., you know? And I had Apollo in that. And I don't mind having repeat villagers, but I was like, I genuinely, like, so I already drew him as a human, and I'm like, I genuinely don't know if I could think of another way to do Apollo. You know, he's just a bald eagle. And so I was like, fuck, then what do I do? And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna skip out on Apollo. He's swell and all, but I wanted a new cranky villager. And I just hoped that I would find another one. I only have so many Nook Miles tickets, you know? So it's not like I could go hunting, you know, too much. And so I hunt, and I hunt for as much as I could, and I do not find a cranky villager. Not another one. And I go, oh, well, shit. And so I just left it as is. I did not recruit the final person I had found. Because they didn't really, like, spark inspiration out of me. If they end up moving to my village anyway, well, then, you know, I can make do with what I have. But, I don't have a final plot available. I've only got 9 plots out of 10. So, I can still obtain my cranky villager. The thing is, I used up all my Nook Miles tickets, looking for one yesterday. And so, I'm just going to not make the final plot and kind of build up some Nook Miles tickets, to then, later down the line, we'll go cranky hunting together. I think that sounds fun. So, yeah. We're gonna be stuck at 9 for a little bit of time. I won't wait for too long, you know? Yeah, that's the plan, Stan. How do we do horse hoof shoe? Horse hoof shoe. They've got real ankle high energy in this game. And so I think maybe some ankle boots. This is the way to go. So yeah, I should actually have a new villager moving in today. I don't know who it is though, I haven't played yet. So, yippee. Depending on how long I go today, I might play more Animal Crossing later. I really don't want to just become an Animal Crossing streamer. I know it's been a lot of Animal Crossing lately, yeah, I do want to actually change it up, maybe this Friday, kind of a deal. So, but yeah, I can always keep playing Animal Crossing because I like Animal Crossing. What can I say? Yippee! I've done her sketch. Elevator Converse boots. Those are so cool. Maybe a different villager. Twins trying to gaslight twins into redrawing that hand. She was successful. It was just a little too much. Shiny hunting for villagers is hilarious. It is pretty hilarious, but also those get fuckloads of views. Gotta be honest. I'm not one to try to like chase trends or anything, but villager hunting is popular. So yeah. I definitely don't mind the idea of doing something I like that I also know will get a lot of traction. To put it shortly. Let's get this line art happening. This is just your Animal Crossing arc. I know, right? File save. Still? Oh, like still popular? I think it's the most popular form of engaging with Animal Crossing. At least New Horizons, you know? It certainly won't have the same numbers as it would have, you know, like 4 years ago. Or whenever this game came out. 7 years ago? It's been a while, actually. But yeah, I remember I watched a gal during kind of the height of Animal Crossing fever. She was hunting for... She was trying to get all the villagers, and she was on the cats. Like, she wanted to get all the villagers' photos. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna do Stinky next. Stinky is a cat wearing underwear on its head. A funny little guy. He's a jock. I know, what a surprise. And she was hunting for Stinky. And the way how villager hunting actually works, if you see a villager, you will not see them again until you've seen every other villager. So, like, if you will not go to an island, and then you find, we'll go over Reneigh, for an example, and then you, oh, well, I don't want Reneigh, so you go out again, and then you see Reneigh again. The only way that can happen is if you had seen every other villager before you saw Reneigh, and then your cycle reset, and Reneigh was now #1 on that cycle. And so she was keeping track of how many villagers she, like, was going through on her hunt for Stinky. And he was her second to last villager. She wasn't specifically hunting for him. It was him or another cat. And the other cat must have been the last one on her list. Yeah, it was like, how many villagers are there? 800 something? It took her forever, and seeing her finally find Stinky, I think it's the most excited anyone's ever been to see Stinky, you know? Stinky the cat, and sometimes I think about her, just being so excited to finally see him, and you know, it sparks joy. It is very similar to shiny hunting in Pokemon. A nice way for a streamer to chit-chat with chat, while also having, like, a clear goal that can be celebrated really efficiently as well. Yep, that's Reneigh. I thought about it, I'm like, should I add any more accoutrement? I don't think so. What I'm gonna do, also, I'm gonna give her leggings, because you can see on her, like, her hooves are this nice teal color, and then there's, like, a fade on her flank. And so I'm going to have that be leggings on her. And I think I'm gonna cheat technically. I'm going to use, like, this red-brown as her skin tone. And then I'm gonna make her leggings this darker brown on her muzzle. And have that fade happen on that. Yeah, horsies are easy, cause it's a pretty, especially one with like a pretty decently skin-toned color flank like this. Cause it's easy to translate. Oh, this is like their hair. This is like their skin. Don't you get 2 in a row all the time? No? No, not at all. Yeah, you will not encounter a dupe of a villager. There is a special way how villagers can be affected by pocket space, where if you visit someone's village, and a villager moves out of that, like your friend's island, then they join pocket space, where they kind of, you won't find them on an island, but no, you don't encounter the same villager over and over. Not unless you're restarting the whole game. If you're restarting the whole game, then no. I'll admit, I'm not sure on the specifics of if villagers reset themselves once someone moves into your village. I don't know if that resets the villager encounter rate, for lack of any better way to word it. You know, I'll admit I'm not sure about that specific, but yeah, if you are in one day hunting for a villager, you will not encounter the same villager twice in a row, unless that specific that I detailed earlier is met. This hand is kind of crazy. I should study hands more. I draw hands on hips so often for someone who cannot draw hands on hips clearly. I'm even drawing extra attention to the hands because I'm gonna have her hands be... her fingernails are painted. What makes it worse? Better is that some villagers just don't show up if they're in your moving queue. Exactly, yeah, that pocket space. Yeah. So... it's interesting stuff. I feel like I was gonna say something in relation to color. I remember! Okay. Sometimes I think about My Little Pony. And artwork for My Little Pony. Fun stuff. Not stuff you see too much anymore, you know. It's not 2000. Or whenever, you know, Friendship is Magic was really popular. But, so I went to bed tonight thinking about this. I think about colors a lot. So, Rarity, specifically. Love Rarity. She's cool. I like the color purple, you know, and she's got purple hair. She's a unicorn. Fun stuff. I like Rarity. Okay. Artwork for Rarity, like human versions of Rarity, very often, I think she's the most common one of the main 6, outside of maybe Twilight, to be given a 2015, wow, really said there's a 5% chance to find Raymond in Viridian Forest. But Rarity is one of the My Little Pony characters who is most likely to be illustrated with darker skin, in fan art. Which is swell. Cool stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The thing that jostles my jimmies, and it's because I'm a stickler for colors, and I don't know why you want to do this, if you make Rarity a darker skinned, like, human, like if you're drawing them as humans, if you want her to look like Rarity, if you want people to recognize her, that's Rarity. You gotta have her wear white. This is something I see so often. This hip is bananas. I need God, what's wrong with me? Hang on. I see it so often, where people draw Rarity. I just need to get rid of all this, like, wrinkling as well. But what's with this aggressive grip I've got going on here? Like, good gravy. Sorry, I've so distracted myself. I'm ruining my good point about color theory. But yeah, if you want people to recognize Rarity for being Rarity, you gotta have her actually wear white. And I see it so often where they put her in purple and, like, blue. And I understand wanting to... Howdy, welcome, come on in. I'm talking about My Little Pony. And I understand wanting to, like, keep her in maybe colors like that the human version wore in the movie Equestria Girls or whatever. And also, like, the pony Rarity also tends to wear blue. So I can understand that and wanting to do that. But like, her flank is white. Like, it'd be like if you had a human version of Pikachu, and they didn't have any yellow on them. You see what I'm saying? It's just... It is the color most on Rarity. Her flank is white. And so if you, like... And if you don't care, that's okay. But you must understand that in order for people to recognize, oh, that's Rarity, you gotta have her wear white. And I don't even know why you wouldn't do that anyway, especially if you have her with a darker skin tone, because white on dark skin tones looks so good. Like, it's delicious and awesome. It's one of the best things. It's why you see so many, like, dark skinned characters with white hair. It's the contrast that looks so good. It's just as delicious as when you see, like, really pale characters wear black. So yeah, that's my flamin' hot tip for all 12 of the people out there who are currently drawing Milo Pony human fan art. Yeah, if you draw Rarity, I do highly recommend have her wear white, because, like, even if you have her, or more so, especially if you have her be dark-skinned, because it looks amazing and it helps her actually resemble her pony a lot, like her pony form, a lot more successfully. And rant, I guess, is more of just like a tip, a helpful tip. She's mad you drew her hand like that before. I've often thought the MLP fandom typically depicts Pinkie Pie as brown-skinned in human art. I mean, I see it a lot with Rarity, but I think I just see the most of Rarity. I also don't see it very often. So, yeah, in the circles I wander, I think the order is generally, you see a lot of Rarity. I think it's almost like universally agreed to make, Twilight, like a darker skin tone, like a medium dark kind of a deal. Sometimes I see Pinkie pretty regularly. Never Fluttershy for some reason. Applejack, it's easy to literally just use the orange of her flank. And Rainbow Dash is a complete wild card. It makes sense with Pinkie Pie too, in a similar kind of way as Rarity, where... Yippee, I finished the line art. Now I can get to colors, my favorite part. Except for the dress. The dress will be annoying, because I have to do the pattern on the dress. But yeah, I see... I can see the value in doing it with Pinkie, similar to Rarity, because Pinkie Pie has a whole lot of pink on her, and I can understand maybe someone's natural inclination being to, oh, well, then I will, I'll use that pink as, like, a kind of a base color for her skin tone. But she can end up becoming just pink on pink on pink on pink if you do that. I've discussed before how a more yellow skin tone helps make red hair or eyes stand out better versus a more pink skin tone doing the same thing for yellow hair or eyes, and that's true across all, like, light to dark, on the light to dark scale as well. And so I can see how, you can shift with Pinkie and be like, oh, I'll make her darker skin to make the pink really, like, pow, come out at you. So yeah. The true can technically be said for all the girls, and which isn't also, it's not to say that, light skin tones wash out everything, but, yeah, that's it, end of thought, I guess. I like color. Oops. I like color, and there's no wrong way to do art. As long as you're having fun, that's the important part. Okay, I had to look up to take a gander at her skin tone. Sometimes I worry that the the colors don't look right on my tablet. I think the gamma is just a little bit different from the computer screen. It's a little more red on my tablet, and it's a little bit more kind of purple looking on the PC. And that's something most people won't worry about, so be aware for all you aspiring artists in chat. Most people don't worry about like those minute color differences. It's just that I do. I do because I care. I'm using this muzzle color in her hair as well, because you know, you have your shaved hair, and like that shaved part will be like darker. It also kind of implies that's her natural hair color, and the pink has been dyed in, which is pretty nice if I do say so myself. We'll also make the eyebrows dark. And then yeah, using it into leggings. Yeah, that leg is wide open. I can see the line art, the giant gap in it. So we can get that nice gradient in there. I think the MLP fandom is just separated into chunks that see at least one of the main six as black. I mean, it's more fun that way, isn't it? You know how boring it is? Like, to see a world full of just one skin tone? So boring. That's honestly... Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna grab a slightly less illuminated shade of this. Yeah! It's one of the, like, biggest bummeronies to being into, like, a lot of Japanese mediums still have a token single dark-skinned character, you know? Like, Project Sekai has no dark-skinned characters. You know, things like that. You'll usually only get one in a franchise, and just a little lame, isn't it? Because it's just so, because skin tone diversity is so fun. That's one of my favorite things, is looking at, like, I draw a handful of characters, and I take a gander at them at the end, and it's like, look at all the different skin tone variety, even if they are all like white. You know, it doesn't have to be the same thing over and over. Oh, hang on, my colors got a little messy there. And yeah, you got a whole dang main six. It's just way more fun to have a whole variety of skin tones. Especially since My Little Pony also pushes, like, such a, you know, equality is good. You know, friends can be, you know, drastically different. We all come from different walks of life, kind of a mentality. It makes sense that it's garnered a pretty dang, inclusive audience. Reneigh's eyes are crazy. Wow. They've got a lot going on. The fun part about doing, like, human versions of, fan art like this is I don't have to think about colors too much. A lot of the hard work has been done for me, you know? You think the main six were supposed to have human skin tones, but then they changed it? You mean like in Equestria Girls? Maybe. I think at the end of the day, it was a smart idea to not do that, just because it does allow the target audience, you know, little girls, to, oh, I stretched, that's what that weird noise was. But it allows the target audience to get to, like, see themselves in, you know, whoever their favorite is. So, because otherwise, you know, it's like, oh, well, I always thought Rarity was, you know, like a black girl like me, says some little girl. I thought she was like me. I liked it better when I imagined human Rarity looking more like me. And so I think it was a smart choice to keep even though some of the Equestria Girl versions look a little sickly, I'll admit it. Fluttershy especially is like, do you need help? But But yeah, I think it was an overall a smart choice. Plus, it means fan artists get to still make, just like those little girls, get to still make their My Little Ponies look however they think they look. Do you think Rarity is a black woman? Hell yeah. Do you think she's a white woman? Hell yeah. Fuck it, whatever. As long as you have her wear white, then I got no problems. Man, all this detailing is biting me in the ass. It makes Phil bucketing more harder, as I chose to so eloquently put it. Let me get this now polished color in before I forget about it as well. Do-do. 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 Yep. Alright. Okay, cool. And now, just for the final harderest, which is this dang old dress pattern. God damn. Alright, I'm doing this on a different layer to make my life easier. Okay. Step 1. Zigzags that are purple. Alright, step 2, zigzags that are the darker blue color. They're kind of thick. Cool, fill that in. Yippee. Okay. Next step, more blue. We'll ignore that. We're jumping back to purple. Let me thicken this up a little bit. Since the fill bucket likes to be a little overzealous at points. Then we've got blue ziggy zags, and then we've got thick ass purple ziggy zags. Hell yeah! Okay, and then we got triangles because then there's a line. Wow. And then we've got triangles going downward. This is how I'm thinking about it. Triangles going downward. Fill that in. They do make triforces. There is no easy way to do this. I will simply go back in and make the triforces. Hang on, let me set myself up for success here. This is what setting yourself up for success looks like. There's a flaming hot tip for you. Okay. Okay, great. I know it looks like I'm not set up for success, but I am actually. You've just gotta trust the process. She's so pretty. Thank you. I made very few decisions about it, which is fun. I don't do fan art super often. Yippee! And then make more triangles. This is hard to look at. This is a challenging color combo for my eyes to really want to grasp. Nice. And then we've got a blue line, and that should be the end of the dress. But it keeps going, because I'm bad at this. So we will kind of start the process over, I think, and kind of have our zigzags return. After a chunk of blue, and then we've got our zigzags. This isn't even taking into account, like, I am not giving enough of a shit about, like, the folds of the dress. Like, they should be affecting these zigzags way more. And then blue zigzags, and then we got more purple. It's really more pink. Sometimes I wish I was a better artist. Nice, there we go. Made it work. Made it happen. It's Reneigh. Yippee! Pretty cool. She's also a little diagonal. I can rotate her in post. She do be doing a bit of a, you know, she's just on a bit of a lean. But let's add some shading and some light. Sorry, I forgot my order of operations for a second there. There we go. Let's do some simple old dang shading. Get rotated, idiot. Hey, I don't like this hair. I don't like what's going on here. There we go. I'm always like, I don't want to go too hard with the shading, and then I do. I do go too hard with the shading. I just can't help it. I'm like, nice simple shading. Let's, you know, let's only shade the bare minimum that I have to, and, you know, nothing too fancy. And the problem is I get to the arms, and I'm like, well, this whole thing needs to get shaded, you know, like, eyes are also awfully important. I'm usually like, oh, let's, you know, not go too hard, but, oh, the eyes do need to have their nice shading, you know? My brush is too big. I need to make it smaller now. Now I can get these fine details. Pretty goyle. Pretty, pretty. In case you didn't spot it, I guess I want to be helpful and give art tips today. I am working on a multiply layer for shading. That way, I don't have to worry about going off the edge like this. I can only add shading to what is on her color layer. All my colors are on one layer. I used to do what, you know, everyone's always like, oh, if you're a real artist, then, you know, you've got to have, like, your skin on one layer, and then your hair's on another layer, and I know people who, they put every color on its own layer. And that is helpful if you're more of, like, got a more painterly kind of art style, I think. But, I put all the coloring on one layer. And so then that way, I can select my color layer. And I do that by going to, on Clip Studio Paint, I go up to Layer, Selection from Layer, Create Selection. That selects the whole dang color layer. And then I make a new layer over here that you saw me do, where I hit this button, Create Layer Mask, and it creates a mask. And that's how I'm able to shade without worrying about going outside of my lines. Learning how to do that was a fucking nightmare, because I could see, like, that wasn't something I had on my old art program. And so I just got good at following my lines with a mouse, because I didn't have an art tablet either. But then I got this art tablet, and it did. I'm like, I need a real art program, actually. And so I got Clip Studio Paint. Highly recommend. And but I could see, like, I watch other people do, you know, their art videos. And I'm like, man, they're doing this thing. They're, like, doing this multiply layer thing. I don't get it. I couldn't figure out how they were doing it. I looked up so many, like, resources. I don't even know if I'm doing it, quote-unquote, right, but I made it work. You know, as long as, and that's the important part, is that I figured out how to mask off what I needed to mask off. You can also invert a selection, like if theoretically I wanted, to only be able to draw around Reneigh, but not on her. But I didn't want it to be on a layer under her for some reason. Then you can do that theoretically as well. But yeah, that's how. I'm using shading here to accentuate the texturing that I didn't do particularly well with the line art. As you can see, the shirt is like not pleated, but it's got like a raised texture on the torso area, the bust location, where these sections would just be raised slightly. And I conveyed it a little bit with the line art. It got the job done plenty, but if we're shading, then that means that gives us the boon of dimension. So that's what I'm doing just here. And it's not something you need to be too wound up about. You know, cause, you know, no one's looking at it, you know, like this. They're looking at it like this. And sometimes you just gotta worry about, does it look good at a distance? Oh, there you go. I know people who use layers and they're all cowards. I like layers. I like being able to, it's one of the things that I think is most nice about digital art versus traditional art, is I like being able to do something without worrying about messing up what I've already done. I'll have sketches on new layers, just because I'm like, okay, and now, I don't know if this will work, so let me do it on you know, on its own, basically. The equivalent of, I see artists do this a lot, where in a sketchbook they'll have like a sticky note, and like sticky note over a sketch that they found not good enough for whatever given reason, but they did it like in pen, you know? So yeah, I like layers. I like a lot of things about digital art. I love that you can alter things without having to erase them. Like earlier, how I rearranged her arm to be slightly less horrible. You can't do that physically. And there's been so many times, because I draw all my comics on paper first, and then I scan them in. And there's been so many times where I'm like, fuck, this is wrong. And I just write a note to myself. Like, I'll be like, actually, I won't even write, because I know what my notes mean. I'll just be like, and I know that means the arm is too far out, or whatever. So, yeah. Am I spoiled? I suppose. But, you know, I still have to make the art. We're all spoiled because we also, like, in that same thought process, we're all spoiled because paint comes in tubes. We don't have to make our own paint. We don't have to mix our own burnt sienna. You can just go out and buy burnt sienna, you know? Any reason you do paper for your comics? It's easier for me to draw on paper. Like, there's less setup to it. It's easier for me to walk away if I need to. And I can rotate paper easier. I can rotate a canvas, like on Clip Studio Paint, you know, but, it just feels quicker to work on, more efficient to work on, with paper. So yeah, that's why. Good, great question. I can work digitally. I've thought about it before, of like just doing really roughs on paper and then digitally like doing all the like sketching and line art, but I have to do the sketching anyway. Might as well do it just, you know, on a medium that is easy to work on, I guess is how I would describe it. Hang on. I think I need to color this part in manually. It's also nice because it's easier for me to, like, grasp the size of things. The first step to drawing comics is, for me at least, actually drawing the panels. Figuring out where and when everything happens. And that's easier for me to, like, kind of plan out on paper. Where there's no trying to zoom out to see the whole page or anything. I can just look at a full sheet of paper and see how much space is dedicated to any given panel at a time. Paneling is a part of the comic making process I care about a lot. And I find it tough to talk about just because it's like I care about it a lot. But one, I don't think many people care about it a whole lot. Not like they they just take it for granted kind of a deal. And it's just, I don't know, it just is challenging to talk about. Because I care about it, but I don't even know how good I am at it. You know, I don't think I could give a class or something on how to panel well. A lot of it's just, you know, it's thinking. A lot of art is thinking. You just gotta know what your goal is and plan ahead. Wow, shadows! Yippee, yahoo! And now let's add a little bit of shine. And Reneigh is done. I needed water. That's what that noise was. It was me taking a sip. Sip of my water. Got some nice shiny hair. We're gonna add some shine to the metal parts of her design. So these earrings. And also the buttons on her shoes. Her eyes, not only do her eyes get some nice shine in them, which I kind of want to echo Reneigh's shine being very around her pupil here. But also, above the line art, we can go full white to add a really clear eye shine, since her eyes are actually this, like, kind of grayer color. Isn't that nice? It gives her so much life. Ooh, wow. Cool. And now one final layer connected to the color layer. Oopsies. We're gonna put a little blood in her veins and just add some blushies in places. I've got this on its own layer so that I can erase anything I need to, but you can also work smarter, not harder. Ooh, that's too bright. Hang on. With a darker skin tone, you gotta judge accordingly. Nice. Just helps her feel a little bit more alive. Having a little bit of blood in her veins. I feel like her face is wrong. I feel like her eyes are too high up. Which is a real nightmare, because I've done everything already. Damn. A poo. A boo-boo. All booey-hooey. Shit. Can I fix this easily? No, but I can try. This is what I get. This is what I get for going easy on myself, and yeah, that's where that goes. Cool. And now we've got to fix everything. Including the shine on her eye. There we go. And fix up this line art over here. That really took the brunt of it. Cool, and now I'm gonna have to shift the colors and the shadows down as well. But doesn't that look much better? Now that she doesn't have fucking eyebrow eyes. So, let's start by bringing the color back. Ooh. This eye out here in No Man's Land is way easier to work with. The one oopsies. The one hidden by her hair, way harder. So she's gonna look kind of crazy for a moment. Just accept it. Let's fill that part back in. Nice. This one, it might just be easier to just recolor everything. So I will. I'll do that. And just kind of clean up the skin area. Get her eye properly fixed up. That's the annoying part about, caring about your art. Is being like, dang it, hang on, let me fix that. Going in, shifting 3 goddamn layers over. 3. Shifting most of your layers over. But the devil's in the details. And sometimes it's just how it has to be. Horses need big nose, that's why I gave her one. And now, I'm glad I put this on its own layer, cause I can smudge her blushes down really easily. Good. And then, what layer is this? Oh, that's the pattern on her dress. And then we've got the shadows I need to fix. Nope, wrong layer. Hang on. Good. Now actually I'm gonna set my multiply layer back to normal so I can get this same color and kind of just go back in and fix up. Okay. Making sure I was on the right layer. Fix up everything. Erase the stuff on her eye. Bring the eye shine back in where it belongs. Howdy! Definitely not a toaster. Wow, welcome. What a fun name. I appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoy. Usually I'm not messing up this much. This was a bit of a severe oopsie doodles that I found myself in. This part is... No, that's fine. No, that's actually kind of crazy. Why did I shade her like this? But yeah, I hope you enjoy. Feel free to chat. Feel free to lurk. You can leave if you want. I don't, you know. do whatever you like. We're almost done fixing everything. Just smudging the eye shine back into place. Okay. I've done that for every single step here. I've been on the wrong layer. Eye shine back into place. Eye shine back into place. And now, wowie wow wilkers, we got Reneigh looking way better now. Yippee yahoo! I'll have to be more careful with Sprocket's face, which will be difficult. Because Sprocket is actually going to be really hard. That's why I put everything in a folder. Lasso the folder and fix up the mess from there. Oh, that's a smart way of doing it! I really only fuck with folders when I've got a lot of layers. But that's a good way to do it. File oh, I don't even need to save. Yippee! Cool. I'm gonna have Sprocket be on his own page, but I'm gonna start him off here, and kind of base him off of, or actually, I'll just copy and paste Reneigh's sketch. So then we can kind of use that as a height kind of thing. Because I would like for them all to be properly heighted. So there we go. That's Reneigh. She's a little leaning though. I will end up doing that later to final version Reneigh. Let's save this one real quick. Sprocket. Yeah, Sprocket's next. Yippee! So, Sprocket's tough. In a cool way. Turn Sprocket into a rocket? Well, okay. So, Sprocket is a Robobot. He is one of the 4 robotic animals in Animal Crossing. There he be. That's our boy. And I was thinking a lot on how to do the robotic element to Sprocket. Alright, longer streams, Yahoo! So yeah, I was thinking how to do Sprocket's robotic element. And yeah, I saw like suggestions from you guys being like, you could do a prosthetic or something. You could just turn him into a robot. I could easily do that. But I didn't want to. Critter actually drew fan art, and she made Sprocket's tails like exhaust pipes, which was so cute. But the biggest thing that Sprocket has is his head. And it's hard to make a prosthetic head. But that is clearly the most robotic part to him, being this, like, clearly metal, and it's the biggest thing on him, and it's this green color. Everything else, like, on his body look like, you know, just normal feathers and stuff. And so I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And I figured out, because I do want to try to get this vibe on Sprocket. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a mask. So let's get started. I don't know what angle to put Sprocket in, like what pose, because everyone, like, he's just, you know, Mom, I threw up, you know. But we will figure it out. Am I in the way? Let me know. But yeah, I'll figure out what angle to have him at. Perhaps it'd be easiest to maybe take into consideration his long face now. Actually, I think I want him even lower. Because yeah, I want to do my best to try to get the shape of that beak still in here. And that's easier with other birds. Like, I'll like, when we get to Cranston Cranston's easy, because he's just a bird. You know how you make a beak shape on a human character representing a bird? You give him a big nose. I draw big noses every day of my life. I love characters with big noses. But Sprocket is a bit of a special case. So... the duality of, like, the vibes and also getting his character right. Just AT pose him like a true robot. He's a jock. I think I want him but he's always working. He's such a loner. Sprocket is never hanging out with the others. He's always in his house, working away at like crafting things. I've gotten so many. Every day you walk in, every day you play Animal Crossing, one villager will give you a DIY item. They will teach you how to make a different thing to craft. And 99% of the time, it's Sprocket. Sprocket's always in his house, crafting away. The one time he was outside of his house, he was on the north side of the river by himself. And then he said something nice, like, I'm like, hey, Sprocket, and he was like, hey, twins, whatever. You know, canned dialogue that they have. And then he just started singing. Faces southward and starts singing. The head's a little big. I'm gonna make the body bigger. I'm just planning things out right now. Yeah, and just starts singing away. And then it was so cute. I then I'm like, cool, great, you do that, Sprocket. And then I crossed the river, and Rhonda, a little ways to the right, was facing north, singing. As if she had heard Sprocket in the distance and was like, that is a cute song, I'll join in. So I think I want him, he's like thinking about crafting recipes. He's another tall boy. It is a little weird. No, ostriches are huge. Never mind. I was gonna say it's a little weird to have the bird bigger than the horse, but ostriches are dinosaurs, so he can just be kind of gangly tall guy. I actually have not even made him taller than Reneigh. I've quite frankly made him incredibly short. Well, I'll fix that, don't worry. That sounds adorable. Also, I took a picture of it on my phone. But fucking... So, Ketchup. She's a little duck. Cute little ducky. And I see her sitting in not Times Square. In the, like, plaza. Just hanging out with some sunglasses on. Getting some rays. And, cool, nice. And then I come around later. And Rhonda has joined Ketchup. But Rhonda, being a rhino, she's like, got her eyes. And her rhino face. She's a rhino, Rhonda. And she's got her little hair. And she's got her, then, the rest of her head, and, she's sitting. And that's, like, the collar of her dress and whatever. And she's got sunglasses like this. And I was like, oh my god. And so I took a picture of them, and it's the funniest thing. Of Ketchup just wearing her sunglasses, looking like a cool kid, being a duck and all, being like, quack. And Rhonda wearing her sunglasses fucking wrong, but them just hanging out and having fun together. I always do this. I always put shoulders miles away from where they belong. I'll figure out the specifics of that hand in a little bito. Let's save. Nice. Drink some water. It is giving. Can we pretend that airplanes are in the night sky are like shooting stars? Alright, let's make him a little bit taller. A similar height as Reneigh. He is crouching, so I don't want him to be like nightmarish. Okay, cool. Great. And now, so here's the big kicker Sprocket has. I'm gonna give him a plague mask. I think that'll get us not only his beak shape, but also very specifically it'll get us, like, these eyes and just an overall robotic feel to it. So I'll actually have to Google plague masks so I can get a good reference. Why are there two of them? Because I'm drawing the next guy! I'm drawing Sprocket now! I finished Reneigh. Here, let me show you. I'll plonk her on screen. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Wow, it's Reneigh. Horsey. Now... yeah, that's Reneigh's sketch. I was using her as a height kind of a, like, comparison deal. Plague mask. Yes! Let's get a good-looking one. Let's get an authentic-looking one. Yes. Yes, you. Copy. Back on over to Sprocket here. Not you. And we can get rid of Reneigh now, actually. Yippee. So now I can draw that. And we'll just get rid of our Reneigh sketch. She doesn't need to hang out anymore. And now, this is why I wanted to put him at this angle, because, quite frankly, plague masks are hard to draw. And getting myself at this angle, I think, is going to help a lot. Now, I will say, we're not going to have him be wearing this cloak. So, we can still get him a skin tone underneath the mask, which will be fun, but I don't think we're going to be able to see his actual face in this. Hang on, I need to focus. I think that's pretty obvious, but, so, on a normal plague mask, they are circles, but Sprocket has his fun half-lidded eyes, so I will echo that. We've got some rivets going down. Maybe some rivets along the beak as well. Nice. Making sure I know all my details before I go in with the line art. What does the top of a plague mask look like? Giving a plague mask? Awesome. I know. I'm pretty happy with the idea. Okay, yeah, they're just rounded at the top. That's great. That's great to know. And so I've not thought about his hair at all, but it's tough to see, but he does have, you know, ostriches have little, you know, little cute feathers sticking out of them. So probably use that as a general form of inspiration for it. And following this general sense of aesthetic, hang on. We have rivets along the outer edge as well. And that goes around his head. And he's looking down. So now I kind of got to figure out what Sprocket's face is actually doing back here. So even though we can't see him, so, you know, he's got a nose, he's got his eyes, thinking about, you know, crafting and stuff. which means his ear kind of, and he's facing down. He's facing real down, so his ear goes like there. And we don't get to see too much of his face here. His head's a little big as well, and I knew that going in. Okay, great. And now, I can make a clean sketch. Okay, cool. Awesome, and now I can get rid of this kind of messier sketch, and so that's not in my way. Nice! And now we gotta get to just do whatever the fuck we want with the rest of them. So, yippee. The hair, I'm probably, since the little featheries go backwards like this, and so as to not mess up the general shape of Robobot too much. Oh, hang on, I need my messier sketch here. We're gonna go with pretty slicked back hair. Cool, nice, awesome. And now we can just put him in his, so he's got like a normal kind of mechanic outfit. And I think we can play with our fun plague doctor sort of theme a little bit, and kind of play with the clothes in some fun ways, while still giving him his orange mechanic shirt. I'm gonna give him a turtleneck. No wonder he dehydrates every single day. That's what it is, because I mentioned he's the one that gives me the most DIY recipes. And, it's always, yeah, so about mile 50, I started to dehydrate and pass out, and I thought about this, and here, you can have it. You know, that's, you know, what jocks say when they give you a crafting recipe. And, it's just, he's just way too bundled up. So we're gonna have a mechanic outfit, but still like a pretty long shirt here. Again, pulling with our Plague Doctor aesthetic without full going, like, full Plague Doctor, you know? We're playing with our ideas in a good way, so it's not just a guy wearing a Plague Doctor mask. I want to get the details of this jacket right. And then 2 breast pockets. Breast pockets are so fucking useless. I don't think I've ever put anything in a breast pocket. I don't think I've seen anyone put anything in a breast pocket. We're gonna have pretty wide sleeves, not only to help push the wingling aesthetic with him, but also, again, using our Plague Doctor themes to our best advantage. I gotta figure out what this hand's doing. Hang on. I started drawing and I lost where I was. Love the art. Thank you, Sunday Grim VT. What a cool name. God damn, that's a cool name. Sunday Grim. Well, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Sorry it took me a second to spot you. I was thinking about details. You know how it can get. Nice. And I think it's tough to see. Sprocket's got... I think the rest of his body, like his wings are quite similar to his tail, so I think I'm gonna have him be wearing kind of gloves. Cool guy, cute guy. I put a pen in once and it wouldn't stop falling out, never used them since. They're just so not useful. I think I've seen old men use them. Like grandpas Grandpas love breast pockets, because I don't know, maybe my grandpa was just like this, but, you know, he was built like Santa. My grandpa would pretend to be Santa for kids during the holidays and bring, like, presents and stuff. So, you kind of understand the general shape of my grandpa. And I think he just didn't like reaching, you know, for any pocket. Easier to just pull have everything stashed at his chest. Alright, and now the pants, which is the hard part, because we also want to try to incorporate Sprocket's birdie legs. My grandpa was built like the Grinch. Working construction, it helps to hold random shit until you forget and bend over to grab something. Exactly. So, pencils, maybe some rulers, but they're just not as helpful as I wish they were. So yeah, I want to try to get Sprocket's birdie legs in here, and I also kind of wish I could get his tail involved too somehow, but I don't know how I could do that efficiently, so I might just ignore the tail. But we're gonna do this. The silhouette? Whack. The way he likes to stand? Whack. The fact he doesn't even like to smile? Whack. Me, I'm chill as fuck. No, but, yeah, we're gonna give him... Again, we're still playing with our general Plague Doctor aesthetic, so we're gonna give him pretty tall-ass boots. He's just always ready to weld. That's the thing. What's Sprocket's deal? He just likes to make things. Now, I'm inclined to give birdies kind of pointed-toed shoes. And so I'm going to. I was gonna be like, but maybe I should give him proper work boots. And then I was like, bitch, I've given him a Plague Doctor mask. Hope it isn't weird to say your laugh is so cute. Oh golly, I appreciate it. I've had people make fun of it before. They called it a piggy laugh. And I'm like, no, I'm breathing in. That's why it sounds like that. I'm gonna make him hip. I'm gonna, cause the birdie feet are striped. I'm gonna give him cool belts. And that's how we're gonna do that. Yeah, I need to focus on what buckles look like for a second here. Oh, he's so anime. Actually, I don't want that one visible. Okay, and now I feel like we can get his kind of tail flavor in if we color his pants properly. So, yippee! The sketch is done. It is time to do the line art. Line arto! People always told me I had a hyena laugh too. When I was younger, they said I had a witch's laugh, and you know what? I did. Sprocket's a jock who just so happens to have an odd obsession with plague doctors. Exactly. I'm glad I looked up. It let me see that my sketch is once again a little crooked. But yeah, in like middle school, high school, because middle schoolers and high schoolers are cringe, let's be honest. We all are, we all were. It's just the truth of the things. But I would laugh with my whole chest. I would throw my head back. I would literally laugh like... hang on, those eyebrows look a little sad. I would laugh like, ah ha 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 ha. Like fucking Mandark. I would have my hands up. Ah ha 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 ha. Middle school twins laughing. Yeah, people would be like, you have a witchy laugh, and I did. And then eventually I figured out, hey self, we can calm down a little bit. It's nice to appreciate a good joke. But listen, I was a theater kid, you know? Every credit card opportunity I don't want called, I will assume twins accepted her laugh is cute. That dude was amazing. I'm pretty swell, I know. So yeah, laugh, just laugh. I mean, and some people have really distinct laughs. And that's okay, you know? It means everyone will really enjoy you if you go to see a comedian live. And I don't even mean that sarcastically. Especially, you go to someone like Jimmy Carr. Like, so if you don't know, Jimmy, his whole shtick is, he heckles the audience, basically. And he also has a very unique laugh. I've heard it be described as a space dolphin on helium. And he's got actually a pretty similar laugh as I do. He breathes in. It's a very kind of laugh. So it's really distinct. It's also, I think, what made Eddie Murphy's laugh. So, and he's still alive. I don't know why I'm referring to Eddie as if, like, in the past tense. But, he also has a very distinct laugh. And I think it's a similar thing, where if you breathe in, you get that, like, really deep, kind of unique, guttural laugh sound. And yeah, Jimmy heckles the audience, and so if you're interesting in any way, he's absolutely gonna call you out. And if that interesting thing is that you have a crazy laugh, he's got laugh jokes for days. He could heckle you specifically, no matter what your laugh is like, until the cows come home, because he's heard them all. I have no idea what I'm doing with Sprocket's skin color. It's gonna be the antithesis of Reneigh, where I did Reneigh's skin first, because the flank so easily translated to skin tone. But Sprocket here, I've got green to work with, so I'm probably gonna do the rest of his colors, and then find a skin tone that looks good with them. It's probably gonna end up on the more kind of orangey side. But not too orange, mostly because I want the green to look good. And the green is already being bolstered with the orange shirt he's wearing. So I don't need to worry about it too much. But yeah, I think a more orange skin, like value versus a red value would be doing some good work here. Especially since we get to see so little of his skin anyway. It's really more of an accent color. Cause like everything else is covered up. This little bit is all we get to see. And actually I wanna make sure I do something. This is on my sketch layer, but it's not. What is this layer? Oh, that's that's my Plague Doctor reference. I was like, how come that's at full opacity? That's why. I want to make sure I make his hair visible back there a little bit. Okay! The Plague Doctor mask is such a creative way to interpret him. Thank you! I was really proud of it, because he's got, you know, he's a robot, and I think other, like, Cephalobot, you know, that's the octopus. You know, Cephalobot, like, his whole body being robot, and especially with him being an octopus, I think could lend itself really well to a prosthetic kind of a deal, because the big thing with octopi is that they've got all their hands, you know? But with Sprocket, it being his head made the idea of a prosthetic just not quite feel right. But I definitely wanted the head to be the part that, you know, got the special treatment for being robotic. Because, like, his whole... Look at him! He's 90% head! And it makes great sense, like, with just how I've been able to characterize him, with how he's always crafting things in his house. So Sprocket's swell. I'm really happy with this. My wife says I laugh loud. Can't help it. That's not beating the loud Latina allegations. That's okay. Okay, real talk though. If someone laughs quiet, it weirds me out a little bit. Like, no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. But like, if someone laughs really loud, I'm like, they're having a good time. But if someone only laughs, like, I'm like, why aren't you letting yourself go? Why are you scared? I want to help you. So yeah, it kind of weirds me out. So laugh loud. It's less creepy that way. And thank you. Gajinkas, is that how you pronounce it? I'm an internet grandma at this point, and I feel like I've never actually heard someone say the word Gajinka. But my approach to Gajinkas is inspired by a handful of artists whose names I can't remember right now. I can look them up in a moment. But, I always prefer not... How do I say this? Human versions of animal characters that just give them their animal traits feels like we're missing the point. Yeah, there's no wrong way to do art. Do whatever makes you happy, but I always think it's so fun trying to figure out how do you interpret animal features into a human design. Especially since, let's be honest, people will be pussy about it. Oh, I've got a cat. I can give them cat ears and a cat tail. So easy. Okay, now what about the bird? I'll give them bird wings. Why not the beak? Why not the bird legs? Why not a bird tail even? You know, like, and don't even get me started on things like anteaters, rhinos, elephants. Suddenly, oh, well, you know, and I think, so, not only does it just lend itself to not being particularly creative, but also, I just see a whole lot of people skimp on villagers for, or animal types or what have you, that, don't have the classic cute features that will actually instead be interpreted very interestingly into a human design. I've got an artist who I like to follow who draws Gajinkas of Pokemon in a very cool way. And they approach the Gajinkification in a very similar way as I do. They're one of my inspirations. I'll have to look them up. Once I finish this line art, I'll do that. But, what am I saying? I'm saying something smart and interesting. Oh, like, I've seen them interpret, like duck beaks into cute hats. And it's like, see, that's really swell. And I've seen them turn cat ears, like Pokemon cat ears, into, like, really cute hairstyles or hair accessories. And it's like, see, we can be doing so much. Quite frankly, keeping animal features limits you. It's hard to be like, oh, I'm gonna play around with the hairstyle when you've already trapped yourself in a cat-shaped silhouette by giving them cat ears, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Tea and shade against me specifically. No wrong way to do art. You wander closer towards furry art anyway, Coral Palette. So it's almost a different ball game, really. Ugh. That hand is so much better than the one I did with Reneigh. was planning to draw while hanging out, but I'm mesmerized by your drawing. Oh golly. Not getting anything done. I think it's because I work fast. I think it's easier to draw along with others when they tend to work kind of slow. I follow a good number of artists, and the ones who stream and are quieter and slower, those are the ones that it's much easier to just have them on in the background. But I'm just not slow enough. I've never been slow. It would annoy my art teachers. Twins, you need to slow down. You draw so fast. And I understand now that they were trying to tell me to, like, you know, focus more on details, kind of a thing. But instead they just say slow down. And it's like, well, what value does drawing slowly have? You know? And I think the thing is, I've just always been teaching myself how to draw comics. Which, by necessity, kind of need to be drawn a little quickly. If you want anything to get done ever. Hang on, I've decided to be a complete psychopath and add texturing to the belts. Because I got heads in the fridge and bodies in the walls. Saw a video where someone turned a fish character into a human. The comments were like, "Where are the gills?" And the artist was like, "What?" It's like, no, fam, it's not a mermaid. Mermaids are pretty fun, though. I could understand being like, oh, but I want to make this one a mermaid. If you're doing like a fish character like that. Where are the gills? That's so silly. That's so funny. People be crazy, especially non-artists. Non-artists ask the funniest questions, because they just don't get it. And, you know, they and not to like put them down. They just don't get everything. Why'd you shade it like that? What do you mean? They don't even say that. Why'd you draw it like that? What part? You gotta give me some specifics. Why is their hand like that? Because drawing hands is hard. What? Who would be next? Cranston. Cranston would be next if I continue doing art. Golly, it's warm. It's warm today. Oh no, I was talking about the laugh. I laugh quietly. Oh! I would get annoyed when my high school art teacher did that. I think art teachers are, you know, they're doing God's work, but God bless them, shut the fuck up. Like, none of them really get it. They do their best, but they can't even really teach art because a lot of not artists have to take art classes. And so, like, they can't even, like, approach really teaching art because, you know, if someone's not good at it, then they get frustrated and all that jazz. And so, but then, like, the artists, you know, they see, you know, like, oh, you actually, you know, you seem to know what you're doing. You actually are, you know, you have something going on here. And they want to teach, but they, so often, like, they're so out of practice that they don't even do it well. So, yeah. Again, God's work, but that doesn't mean they're doing it well. Why didn't you color them in? Yes, and it's like, because I wanted it to be in grayscale. Yeah, but non-artists are also the ones who it's like, I like this one because it's blue. You just like the color blue? Yeah. Okay. See, I chose the shade of blue because, oh yeah, and then they phase out because they didn't care. They just wanted you to know they like the color blue. Those are the same people. These comments make me laugh every time I get them on, like, a video where I discuss character design. Or something, and it's like... Am I the only one that saw the new designs and went, huh, neat, and then went on with my day? And it's like... This doesn't make you special. Your apathy? It doesn't make you more unique or interesting. A character designer still had to make the designs. Does anyone else I just cut my hair. You know, it doesn't have to be some big character reason for it. What? You're a real person? What? You're not a fictional character whose story is being woven, both, you know, like, in a written sense and in a visual sense? Oh my god. Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations on being a real person. And not a fictional character whose everything needs to be designed. Twitch censored man titties, but not big titties? That's hilarious. Let's color. My favorite part. Okay, so we actually have like a decision to make because Sprocket's beak is this gold color, but his head is predominantly green. We gotta kind of figure out how we approach that to him. I might save the mask for last. Might make my life a little bit easier. So let's color in the rest of him. Oh, golly, that's a bright-ass orange. I hate orange. I don't like how bright it is. It's so abrasive. Alright, we got his bright-ass orange. Let's hit these pockets. They're a little buckle color. Nice. I might have to change my sea color, actually. My background, so I can, well, you know, see what I'm doing. We're gonna make his pants and his turtleneck the same dark shade. And the tips of his glove, or rather, like the hand part of his gloves. And then we're gonna go in with this kind of silver color on his tail, and not only add that to his gloves, like how he's got on his wingalings, but also gonna imply a pattern on his pants to give us sort of that vibe that his tail has. Nice. My line was not closed. My lines are never closed. I've got the messiest lines in all the land. There we go. Okay. Once again, Purple Woman has declared war on oranges. You'd think we'd live in harmony. But no. God damn, those boots are something. Move the fucking cursor, please. Thank you. That's me yelling at Clip Studio Paint. Okay. Got a lot of this detailing that I need to make sure I color in. And then, I gotta get a color for the buckles, which I might make his beak color. It's a good way to tie that in. Nice and cohesive. Without making them be, like, too much. Because I could also go with, like, the silvery color. But I think that would just kind of be a lot. I don't want to draw, like, a ton attention to his shoes for no reason. Ooh, I think I figured it out. I think I know what I'm doing. I gotta make sure I color in that part there. Hang on. And yet there's nothing better than orange, red, and purple together. It's fine. I don't think it's my favorite color palette. The jump scare with the fill bucket. I know, right? I'm always fighting the fill bucket like that. His shirt reminds me of Kyle from South Park. Fascinating. Fascinating. Okay, okay. So, I'm following my original plan, first and foremost, which is the mask is the Robobot part. And we're gonna have elements be this darker green. But I think I want some of the rivets to be his beak color to still get that in here. You see what I'm saying? You do. You're smart. You're smart little cookies. I'm looking for details. Hang on. Trying to find the lines. Nice. And then... Yeah. Oops. This will be faster with just doing it by hand rather than trying to fill bucket every little square. Had to try to eject the frog from my throat. Here's hoping that actually worked. I drink so much water while I stream. I don't know how it happens every time. Yippee! Headcanon, he has the most beautiful face. I love making pretty characters under masks like this. I'm so right there with you. Okay, and now we've got, his beak. Subtle, elegant, nice, good. Tasty. Fuck yes. I'm a god. And see, this is the thing. Reneigh I started with because she was easy. But it's the challenge of characters like Sprocket that really make doing Gajinkas like this really worth it. Is it really hard to see at a distance? Yes. Am I gonna add a slight gradient? Maybe, actually. Just a slight gradient. A really, really subtle one. Let me put that on a different layer, just in case it's bad. Just like a... I think that's alright. I'll leave it for right now. Hair color, I'm actually gonna pull from his little hairs back here. And now we just gotta find our skin tone. Which I haven't really thought too much about at all. Cool guy! Let's take a gander at some of the shades we've got going on. Yes! So what I just did there, I know I did it silently. I'll walk you through that thought process. So, if you look over here at my colors, I looked at the orange, and it's like saturation. And I looked at this green, the main green, and where it was. And I grabbed orange, and I put it where, like, around where the initial green saturation was. And I fiddled with the red a little bit. But that color, that first one I put down, was, since it was the same saturation as the green, it just made it all kind of feel like it was blending together. And so I was like, okay, I will lighten his skin tone slightly. I did, but then it was a little too, like, gray pale looking. And so then I wandered a little deeper back into saturation. So the green saturation is around here. And so I've chosen a skin tone that's a little bit higher than his. Actually, it's similar to where, like, in terms of tint level, similar to where the orange of the shirt is. Just kind of meeting between the tint of the orange shirt and the saturation of the green mask, and kind of meeting in the middle, right there. And that's what I did. Wow, that's Sprocket. Goddamn, that is him. It is he. Where have you? Okay, there you go. Okay, I didn't need that that anymore. Oh, cool. I've also colored in his hair and skin on their own layer. So I'll just, and that's also the layer with my slight gradient, which I think I'll keep. So I'll just fuse those together. Save, and let's add some shading. Take a sip of water. There he is, my favorite boy. So Sprocket's got a lot of orange on him, but he also has a lot of this blue color. So I think we're gonna stick with a kind of a purplier shading color. More warm characters benefit a lot from warm shadows. Like this orange could benefit a lot from it. But since we have so much of this blue and purples, like cool colors, can be really hurt by warm shadows. It just kind of plays weirdly on them sometimes. So we're sticking with our safe old purple. I don't need to shade his eyes because they are special. I will be adding something to them. That's me telling myself. And yeah, you put such a distinct triangle in front of me like this. Of course he's gonna end up with some pretty intense shading. I need to lower my brush size again. There we go. Back down to 30. Perfect. Excellent. Amazing. Swell. Grand. Sometimes you just gotta hype yourself up, you know? Sometimes you just gotta be like, you're doing it! Like SpongeBob writing the. You know what's a video game I've never played? Sometimes I think about this. Among Us. I've watched so many people play Among Us. Like, I know how it works. but I just don't have any friends to play it with. Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, where do people find people? Where do people find people to play video games with you, you know? Feels like everybody else has friends to play with. Not me. And that's alright. And, you know, theoretically, I've got Allison. I've got Critter. Kind of really impossible to play Among Us with only 3 people. But yeah, just a thought I had. I'm like, how do you become... I've reached out to people before. I have. I've reached out to other, like, streamers / VTubers. And you know, I say people, I've done it once. And they ghosted me. They didn't even reply. They didn't even say, like, oh, no thanks or anything. And it's like, wow, rude. And I lost a lot of respect for them in that moment. Because it was like, girl, I was offering to do something for you for free. I'm not gonna say who it was, but they were like, character design. Character design? I could, you know, really use some help with character design if someone wants to help me do that. And I was like, that sounds like so much fun. And I was like, hey, I specialize in character design. Here's some of my work. You know, I'd be delighted to work with you. Nothing. Crickets. And it's like, alright. Well, I see how it is, I guess. Am I one to hold on to grudges? Maybe. I try not to. If they were to, at some point, reach out and be like, hey, you said you like doing character design. Do you want to do something with me? I'd be like, yeah! But still. Just a little lame-o how that shook out. Sprocket's so much heavier shaded than Reneigh. I can't have them stand next to each other. There's a technique called talking that people use. No. That's a lie. That's a myth. Oh yeah, 2020. That is when it really kicked off. Among Us, that is. I mean, it makes sense. Weren't they planning on making a second game? And then Among Us... like, Among Us didn't come out in 2020. It just, people just was like, hey, check this game out, let's play it. And, we had nothing else to do. And so they were like, well, shit, Among Us has popped off, so I guess we don't need to make a different game. We'll just kind of keep adding to this one. A smart move, if I do say so myself. I bet Mapafu would Among Us with you. You know, I bet Mapafu would Among Us with me. Mapafu has so many friends. It'd be a little intimidating. But it might be, I don't know. I've never played before. I don't know. It's hard to host things. It's like, how do you host, like, a game that you've, like, hey guys, I want to play Among Us. I've never played it before, though, technically. How do I do this? You know, like, it's scary and hard. But if there's anything I've learned from playing Baldur's Gate, genuinely, it's that life is only interesting if you agree to do things. Like, you know, you can say no to getting Leviatar's blessing, and then you miss out on a really great blessing. Or you agree, and you let Abdrak hit you until he finishes, and you have a great time. And also, you get Leviatar's blessing for the rest of the game. That's a permanent buff. And things only happen that are interesting if you do things. So you can't be scared and be like, oh golly, I hope that somebody else invites me to something at some point. You know, it's like how I tell people, like, your mom's not gonna make playdates for you as an adult, kind of a deal. And so if I want to play Among Us with people, I gotta reach out to people and be like, hey fam, I've never played Among Us before, and I think I'd really like to. May we please play Among Us at some point, please? And if they say no, well, then they say no. If they say yes, yippee. Theoretically, I could probably also rope Zero and Messiah into it. But, and I only list them because I know they also stream. But I don't know. I don't want to make a habit of, oh yeah, you can play video games with me, you're a BFF streamer. Like, I don't know, it feels a little too parasocial. I don't want to wander too close to the parasocial line, you know what I'm saying? But I'm sure they'd say yes. Or maybe not. Messiah seems busy. Messiah's got like a whole dang family to worry about. Not me. I've just got a cat. I've just got a cat and medical bills. Yippee yahoo. I almost lucked out. So I think it's still going on. Like, the whole world is not shipping things to the States right now because of the tariffs and everything. And I've kind of lucked out because of it. Not that it's a good thing. I wish it wasn't like that. And I'm still not even 100% sure if they actually went through with it, kind of a deal. I had a figure that's supposed to, an anime figure, that's supposed to come in. And actually, she was supposed to come in last month, but got delayed, because they all do. And then, so she was supposed to come in this month, but then the announcement came out that, tariffs have stopped that idea from happening. And I'm like, okay, so that's a huge bummer, but also, with all my doctor visits, like, it was kind of stressing me out, being like, and then also I've got to spend, like, $300 on a figure, because you pay for figures when they ship, not when you order them. And so I was like, man, there's gonna be a lot of stuff I need to do, because I don't know how much all my doctor bullshittery is going to be, and, so yeah, I was kind of stressing out about it, but it's almost nice that it's kind of removed it as a possibility. At least I think. I'll have to double check. And double luckily, if the tariffs have still, you know, got everything into effect in terms of ain't nobody sending anything to us. I just actually ordered some acrylic stands, which I like those. I've got an acrylic stand collection for VTubers, because most VTubers don't get real figures. And so I've got an acrylic stand collection. I'd love, by the way, to get my own acrylic stand at some point. I think that'd be super fly. But anyway, I think first I would want to make Doug plushies. What was I saying? Oh, but I ordered myself some acrylic stands, and those came in like a couple days before the news come out. No one's shipping to America, and so I'm like, whew, got it in right under the radar. Woof. Goose Goose Duck does also look cute. Looks funny. But open lobbies are atrocious on that game. Dang, lame-o. That sucks. That blows chunks. I have a friend that collects figures, and a lot of companies just don't even ship to the US anymore. Yeah. It's pretty lame. Doug plushies. I know, wouldn't that be nice? I think it'd be really cute to get you... If I could make merch, I think the first thing I would merch is Doug, not myself. I think a Doug plushie would be swell, even though I'm playing with fire, because he's legally distinct from a piranha plant. I didn't even mean to make him look like a piranha plant. But Nintendo might be like, now hang on a second, that looks an awful lot like a piranha plant. And it's like, no! I stole the idea from a background element from Jak and Daxter. But yeah, Doug plushies would be cute. And it would be plant form Doug, not human Doug, so I know. Bummeroni, don't get your hopes up though. Eventually, I'm sure. Who is Doug? Doug is my plant. I'll show you. That's him as a human. Wow, that's Doug. But this is his plant mode, how he actually looks. It's Doug! Wow, what a good guy. He eats birds. And so yeah. Other twins lore includes the fact that I call my chat Sprinkles. Because they make things more fun even though they're useless. Just like sprinkles. There we go, we've shaded in. Also, having his skin tone be darker like this helps differentiate. Makes it so it's clear that these aren't his weird legs or something like that. Human Doug could have body pillows. I thought it was a Deku Baba. See, that's the thing. There's plenty of plants with teeth. But yeah, you guys actually came up with Doug. I'll tell the story a million times. I don't mind. I was playing Jack and Daxter, and I went to the bathroom, and I had you guys hang out in Skamos' house, looking at a plant that looks a lot like Doug. And you guys chose to name the plant. You called him Doug. And I was like, well, that's absolutely becoming a character in Twins lore. So yeah, that's you guys made him. Blame yourselves. Yeah, we're useless. Wait. It is dangerous to go to the bathroom and leave you guys unsupervised. It's why I had to make the be right back screen. I didn't mean to make that music so scary, by the way. I'm just naturally good at making scary music, I suppose. But, actually it's cause I realized when I left to, like, I was streaming, having a grand old time, and I think I actually got up to feed Vincent. And I realized that my viewership fell during that time. And I was like, I gotta make sure people know that I'm going to return. And so that's why I made my be right back screen. Wow. Neato! Thanks, Self. I don't want the shine on his mask to be too bright, because I don't want it to look too clean. Yeah, I'm thinking about light and how it interacts with shapes. Okay, good. That's good. As an ice cream VTuber, I approve of the sprinkles. I didn't know that Doug existed before I joined Twitch. It feels like it's been all of you for forever. Some of you mentioned, like, I think Coral Palette was, like, born too late for the, oh man, what's it? The cult game. Cult sheep game. The one where you're a little sheepy. Cult of the Lamb, that's it! Like, you were, like, born too late for Cult of the Lamb streams, and I was like, what? No way. I thought for sure you were there. So yeah, it feels like it's been all of you for forever. Which I think should tell you that it's always okay to just join new people's chats. You can always just become one of the guys. Cold sheep game. I do not offer commissions, unfortunately. I have a fucking frog lodged into my throat. No, what I want to say is I have the idea cooking of on Patreon, having a Patreon tier where people get to basically customize their own sprinkle, and I'll draw that for them. But no, I no longer offer commissions as anything. I no longer have commissions. I'm too busy doing all my own stuff, unfortunately. I appreciate the question, though. Sunday Grim, I'll probably give you a gander after stream anyway. So I don't know, maybe I'll just draw you fan art. Hang on, we're being really really subtle with our shine here. Just art girl things, you know how it is. Delicious. Tasty. God damn. Sprocket does look really good. Or gals or non-binary pals. Yeah. One of the guys is a gender-neutral term in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you did join with the Human Doug Design Challenge. Wowie wow willikers. It just felt like you were always there. We're adding a lot of shine to these buckles. Because I'm not going to add any to the rivets in his mask. That would kind of just be unnecessary. And wowie wow! That's Sprocket! Wow! That's great! God damn! I've yet to debut, haha, but I appreciate you. It's actually gonna happen this month. Oh my! I do a lot of VTubing on a different account, but I wanted more creative freedom since that one's gotta be safe for work and blah blah, so I'm doing my own thing separate from there. Well, golly, I hope you have fun across your different VTubing adventures. And have fun with the debut! Ah. Always there in the corner. Always observing. The boy is made. And so now, who do we have left? We've got Cranston, and then Rhonda, and Ketchup, and... who's after Ketchup? Oh, Leopold! I'm so excited for him. He's gonna be so good. And then Petrie, who just moved in. And I should have a new villager as well today. So... and maybe it'll be the fucking frog that's always in my throat. Been working my butt off on the art for my debut. I make everything myself. I'm poor, lol. Currently working on a 2D rig. Ooh, I'm also poor. And, but I'm lucky in that I have a friend who actually... So, this is... I drew me over here in the corner. But I've got a friend who drew up a proper model for me for when I, I know, poor gang rise up, I know, right? Yeah, she drew up a proper model for me and learned how to rig. So I can actually move. I just don't do it for art streams. Cause, you know, I'd be looking down the whole time, you know? I've thought about, like, I don't have a stand for my tablet. I'm literally, like, I do art streams. Like, there's my desk, and my tablet is on my desk, and then I'm like, my horns. And I'm like, ha ha ha, yeah guys. Anyway, as I hunch over and draw. And then here's my mic. And that's why I'm kind of quiet, because it's over here. I look so much like Chris from Deltarune. And yeah, there's my other hand. I got my pen, and I'm like, ha ha ha, yeah guys. So, yeah, just, having a model it just wouldn't work out, you know? Are you only doing your villagers? Would you do human designs for Tom Nook, Isabel, etc.? You know, I do have such a sloppy crush on Wilbur that I could probably draw some of the NPCs. Maybe at least just, like, line art sketches, you know? I do like color, though, so... Allison is twins' VTuber mother, exactly. Yeah, I don't do moving models for art either. It breaks the model when I go into shrimp mode. Exactly! You go into shrimp mode, and then your model loses your face, and so you're just stuck at, like, a weird angle. So you get it, you get it. Maybe one day I'll obtain a stand, but, and maybe also an actual second monitor. I think we could do Cranston. I think we could also get Cranston in here. So here, let's, if you do them, I'd love to see your version of Gulliver. Okay. Why not? Fuck it. But yeah, I think I could do one more villager. So we'll do Cranston. So let me open up. Let me grab Cranston, the next guy, and then also open up a new dealio. Let me save that really quick. As AC Cranston. I know, 2 ostriches. What are the odds? He's gonna be fun, though. He's got really nifty colors. And let's do Cranston next. But I think we can all take a small bathroom break. How does that sound? You want to hear the spooky music? I know you do. I'm gonna grab Sprocket's, rough sketch. Wherever it was. It should be this one, to use as Cranston's height chart reference. Yep. Because they will be a similar height, except I don't think Cranston's gonna be crouched down like this. So yeah, you guys can take a listen. Fuchsia's your favorite villager? I'm gonna Google them while I go piss. But yeah, you can go to the bathroom real quick. You can get a snack real quick. You can do whatever. You can hang out and enjoy the fun music, and I'll be right back. So, yeah, I'll be right back. I'm back. I've returned. I googled fuchsia, and they look very cool. They are a very boldly colored deer villager. And yeah, they were hip. The animation, thank you. I made it. I did it myself. I also did the music, which is why it's just scary. What are you doing? Sorry, I was talking to one of the cats. If you hear me talk in a slightly cuter voice, it's always to one of the cats. I've also obtained for myself a monster. Ah. Yum yum. Just lost 2 limbs this time? That's okay. You'll grow them back. I like seeing you guys spam the dancing emote when I leave. Okay. Let's get Cranston in here. Cranston is my lazy villager. A nice little guy. Easygoing. He calls me Sweatband. He seems like a bit of an airhead, but in like an Osaka way. Let me explain. Who here knows about Azumanga Daioh? Azumanga Daioh, you should absolutely read. I didn't like the anime. I've only seen a little bit of the anime. And I didn't like it. It was really slow. But the manga, 10 out of 10. Absolute recommendation for the manga. It's one of the most important manga. I think everyone should watch it. Or read it. I want him looking up, but I don't want actually him at, like, a rotated angle. I want him looking up, but to be standing quite neutrally. So yeah, Azumanga Daioh. And, in Azumanga Daioh specifically, there is a character called Osaka. That's not her name. I couldn't tell you what her actual name is. Everyone just calls her Osaka, because that's where she's from. The joke is that, you know, you expect an Osakan to be like, kind of like in Hypnosis Mike, you know, the Osaka guys, to be comedians and loud and abrasive. Osaka is often attributed to being similar to something like New York in the West. And Osaka's really slow. Not loud. She's a pretty... she's a bit of a space cadet. And so I think that's what I want Cranston to be like. Just a bit Osaka-esque. A little bit of a space cadet, as it were. Also, his body's a little small too. I want him to be... There we go. Match the size of this head, maybe. Which one's Bo? Bo sounds familiar. Sends me letters that are covered in syrup and stuff. Osaka is me. Just looked it up. Her real name is Ayumu Kasuga. I'll forget that by the end of the day. I'll forget that the second your comment is no longer visible on my, like, chat feed. Yeah, Azumanga Daioh. Yeah. I reference her basically every day of my life. Specifically Osaka, get it together. Get it together. She's just funny. I love her. I'm thinking, I thought about having him, like, reaching up, being, like, literally, like, is this a pigeon? And, like, a butterfly? And then I'm like, you know, maybe don't. But maybe I actually will. Not literally, like, the meme, but just, you know, just a little space cadet-y. Bo is a deer, brown deer, that wears yellow usually. Oh yeah, that one! I know most of the villagers, just not necessarily by name. Because that's the thing. I don't know if you encounter this, but my favorite part about Animal Crossing is the villagers. And especially when Animal Crossing was first, you know, really boomed in popularity. Because the pandemic kind of forced it to. You know, everyone's like, yeah, I've got my village, and I'm like, who's your villagers? And they'll be like, oh, I don't know. I think one of them's red. You have no idea how little that narrows it down, you know? Like, they don't know any of their names. They care enough, it's like, I don't want any uggos, but they don't know their names. It's like, oh, who's the not uggos you have? Oh, I don't know. I think I've got a squirrel. Fam. So, yeah, I always really care about the villagers, and it's just tough, because I feel like nobody else ever does. I needed to zoom and enhance, i.e. lean forward to draw a hand right. Hey, that's pretty alright. Alright. Figuring out where the elbow goes, you know? Okay, cool. Great! Wowie, wow willikers. There's Cranston. A cute little guy. Let's get rid of Sprocket's sketch here, because I don't need that anymore. And get to work. Cranston will have to be the last one, though. Just because my neck will start hurting. I like it that in English dub of Azumanga they gave Osaka a southern accent. I know, right? It's really cute. My wife hates Hammy. And then you have a story about Hammy, which is fun, but I think my favorite part is that then you have Hamlet is the name, I think, actually. Which is, I don't know, there's environmental storytelling to that. Let's grab Cranston. Oops, that's not Cranston. Let's grab my reference. Okay, Cranston's feathers on the back are actually different from Sprocket's. Sprocket's got a bunch of little feathers sticking out like that. Cranston's actually got more like that going on. Rolling around at the speed of sound. Got one place. Gotta follow the rainbow. Anyway, sorry, I don't know what happened. I blacked out. So we can use that. I think Cranston's gonna end up pretty fly. I love his eyes. His mask is the most, I think, noteworthy part of him. I absolutely want to try to incorporate that into his design. So I'm gonna do my best. My eraser was too big. I don't want Cranston to be too handsome, because he's kind of a cute little idiot. Also, that head shape is wrong anyway. So, let's just get rid of that. Start over. I'm thinking. Let me think. Okay. But he's looking up. He's looking up, so I actually need to raise his chin like that. I'm thinking. I'm not gonna be very funny, I have to think. I'm contemplating. I'm thinking! Okay. I think I figured it out. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, that looks like a guy. Why did I start with a nose? I always do that. I'm always like, alright, time to draw a person. And then I gotta figure out the rest of them. I guess it's a good central place to start. I gotta get this face actually figured out here. I need to figure out how how much he's like angled over here. Or I don't. And I cheat. And I cover up his face with cool hair. That looks pretty solid. That looks alright. I know where his head is now. I forget how fast you draw sometimes. Thanks. My teachers didn't like it. I offered to take him to my island, and wife said no. That's too good of a fate. That's funny. That's great. Cranston's nice in that he's got like a complete outfit. Immediately following Sprocket. Sprocket was a lot of fun. Getting to be really creative, figuring out what I was doing with him. But it's nice to kind of just be like, and now Cranston has like a full fit that he's already got going on here. Oh man, that's gonna be a real nightmare for me to add a pattern to, but I will. Fuck. I'm making him too handsome. I just like handsome guys so much. Just a boy liker. I cannot help it. It's because all guys can be handsome, even if you're cute and stupid. That doesn't mean all guys are handsome, though. Listen, some of you make it really hard to be a boy liker. Not to put anyone on blast, but... Maybe I'll make him a little wider at the tum-tum. Kind of like how the bird body is, you know? Kind of... Cute. Cute, cute, cute. A cute little guy. That sleeve needs to be longer. I wish I could see his wings a little bit better. I don't think there's any better... Let me Google him really quick. You can blast plenty of people. Did I say that? Did I... Did I say something like that? Okay, there he is. It's Cranston. And yeah, okay, the tips of his... What a cute little guy. Yeah, the tips of his... like, wings are also, like, a pinkishy color, similar to his legs, so I can keep that in mind. Not to put anyone on blast. Oh, I don't remember who I just put on blast. Oh, was it men? Did I put men on blast? A full fit, he's got no pants. you know, you make a good point. I can't. I can't draw that. I was going to make a joke about drawing him without pants, and then I was like, no, I can't make that joke. Twitch would be like, okay, so we're gonna absolutely ban you from life itself, and it's like, no, Twitch, please. It was a funny joke. On that topic, I had the thought the other day that I'm like, you know, I don't think I've ever actually drawn a penis. Not to be so crass about it, but you know, I mean, we've all drawn, you know, a funny nose for a character with a mustache. You know, but I don't think, like, I've never actually, like, drawn one, like, for realsies. And I was like, huh, fascinating. It's because NSFW art is hard. You gotta, even if you don't appreciate NSFW artists, even if you don't like them, you have to respect that it's like, well, they're doing hard work. Yeah, even if it's like, okay, they are a scumbag, but they are doing a hard job. I am crass, but in a classy way, right? Yes, exactly. The twins' life motto. Give them a very long shirt with shorts underneath. I'm actually gonna make my life way easier. Because we still have these birdie feet to work with. I'm gonna give him striped pants. So then I don't need to find a clever way to kind of get that color palette onto him. Slightly lower pants. Because he's comfy. And, oh, boxier shaped as well. And I'm going with this kind of boxy shape for his pants. Very straight cut. Because it's helping to give us this flared look. You know, straight line flared look. If they were tighter pants, then we wouldn't have that straight line, especially since we're going with striped pants. And it could end up being a little goofy-doofy if they were tight, or if they flared. I was hoping you'd do striped pants. I know, it's giving a good idea. The other option is long shirt, booty shorts, and totally not out of place knee-high striped socks. You know, he could totally do that. A kind of... So we've got, you know, and then we've got a t-shirt. His hands. There's Cranston. And then, like, booty shorts. And then he's got shoes. And then, like thick-ass knee-high socks. It's giving, Napoleon Dynamite's brother exercising. You know what I'm saying? So maybe a jock character could totally roll with a fit like that. But for a lazy character like Cranston, I think comfy pants is the way to go. What kind of shoes? You know? I think there's only one true answer. I think they gotta be sandals. 1. I can't draw feet. 2. 3. I can't draw feet. Hang on. They're gonna be closed-toe sandals. Cause that's... I'm sorry. It just... Everyone has their weaknesses. And then like a strap. Nice. They're almost more like slippers. Great. Shoes. Let's get these stripes set up. Crocs. Crocs. I can't spell. Can't. Fuck. Seems like the type to wear toe socks. I think you're so right. He's got them underneath there. I'm being real loosey with my stripes here, because I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna do them just with color. I might have a loose line art like that as well, but yeah, I think that's the idea. He's actually got a second shirt on underneath here. I need drink. Drink! Freako sandals. You know, I do talk weird. Which I thought about via me saying loosey-goosey. But the thing that I was at work, and I asked a coworker, "Can you come show me something? And give me some handy-dandy tricks and tips." And I said handy-dandy tricks and tips every single time we were talking about doing the job. Okay, on my original sketch, I'm going to figure out where his eyes are, because this is going to matter quite a lot. His eyes are quite notable. That's a little close together. Let me make this one just a smiggle-diggle over there. Nice. Okay, now, I do want him to have these wide open eyes. So, I'm going to just... wide open. Wide open. Now here's the thing. I don't mind giving characters like this unique eye colors, like this yellow Scalara. I just don't know if I am going to do that. His eyes might be one of the last things I do. Because I do also want to get this mask into play. Let's give him some hair. Because I think he's gonna have cool hair. Hang on, that is not what I want to do. His hair's gonna be kind of a lot. Twins hair mode has activated. I need to think about it. I need a process. I'm gonna be not that funny because I'm thinking. Headcanon. Cranston talks about bugs a lot and probably, annoyingly, scares Blathers a lot. I like that. That's cute. Mohawk, I'm gonna do something. There's a lot going on here. Because I also want to get his tail involved. So... Great. I've got his tail involved. Exactly how I wanted. And now, for the rest of him as well... And I'm trying to follow kind of this line that his mask does have. And he's a little retro, I think. He's got these classic 90s anime hair locks. Oh, the boy needs some eyebrows. Nice. Okay. It's Cranston. Is his face right? I don't think so. I think something's wrong. I think everything's too high. I think I gotta scoot his face down. Cool. And then also I think this jawline is a little aggressive. It's Cranston. Okay. Awesome. Oh, let's add his butterfly. Is this a pigeon? Okay. Reminds me of the guy from El Dorado, but softer. Tulio? Miguel? I can never remember which one's which. I had a crush on him growing up. Here's a handy tip. Is there an animated character who is tall with dark hair? Twins probably had a crush on him. Like the artist from The Iron Giant, I had a crush on him too. I wouldn't even call him, that guy, particularly tall, even. Let's get line art happening. Line arto. I don't know. No, it's fine. Okay. I was thinking. You know what happens when twins thinks. I've got the wrong color. Hang on. My line art isn't blue. It's an abrasive black. Hadoy. Yeah, Cranston's really gonna come to life in the coloring phase. Like, it's like, oh yeah, that's, you know, he's wearing Cranston's shirt, but it'll really become Cranston once we get to play with colors. So gotta hurry up through the line art layer. What's your least favorite step of doing art? Because, you know, as artists, you know, we like doing art, but you gotta have a least favorite part of it. I think line art is my least favorite part. Even though I feel like I'm decent at it. I feel like the sketch is fun, because it's like doing a puzzle. And then... I love coloring, obviously. But there's a lot going on here that's wrong. Hang on, I need to fix his hair. There we go. Okay. But yeah, I think line art feels tedious, but it's so necessary so often. Sometimes, and I've done it with you guys sometimes, where it's like, I want to keep that sketchy look, but I do like having nice clean line art too. So, obnoxious, but it is what it is. I also rely on the line art so much as well. Line art is such an integral step for me, because I actually convey so much with my line art. So, yeah, just because something's your least favorite step doesn't mean it's not important and worth doing right. Everything. I've been lying all these years and I actually hate art. The eyes stare into my soul and they aren't even looking at me. Shading easily. Oh, shading is most fun when it's like really exciting, isn't it? Like, shading that's just like, and then it's, you know, a guy standing around. Meh. Let's hurry through this. Shading that's like, it's like really heavy shadows. Like the light is cast in a really, really interesting location. Like, shading is at its most fun when it's at its hardest, isn't it? The moment you're like, fine, geez, I'll spend 13 hours doing the shading, and it's like, it's so worth it. One of the best pictures I ever did was, it was for like a Deltarune, like daily kind of challenge thing. Like, the three of us, Critter, Allison, and I were all doing it, and I don't remember what the prompt was, I just remember that I drew, Undyne. And I drew her, the prompt may have just been draw Undyne, and I opted to draw her when you first see her, when there's that really thick black shading. You know, when she's chasing you. And I did like physically, because I was doing it in a sketchbook. I went through like 2 Sharpies shading in this like really heavy black shading all across the picture, and half of it was because I was hiding how bad her hand looked. Like, I had her hand really forward, and I was like, this doesn't look very good. So I hid it with the shadows. But I'm like, if this is well shaded, everything's got to be well shaded. and it just looked so good. So, how do you make shading fun? You gotta make it way harder. Wait, I'm backgrounds. I'm changing my answer to backgrounds. Oh, backgrounds. I fucking suck at backgrounds. I wish I was better. The thing is, I just don't want to take the time. That's the thing. Especially for, like, my comics. As the Sky Falls, actually, I have to upload an update for patrons after I'm done streaming. So, if you're on Patreon, you can go over there and find the first handful of pages for the next chapter of As the Sky Falls. Yippee! But you'll see that twins cannot draw environments to save her life. And it annoys me, because I'm like, these suck. And then I'm like, I don't want to spend hours drawing them, though. You know, I gotta just get to a point where I can have a background artist. You know, that's what actual professionals do. They have somebody else do the backgrounds for them. And, just gotta get to that point eventually, I guess. But for now, y'all just stuck with, houses are all rectangles. And trees, are the dominant locale. And this is what it is. Save. I think environments would be more approachable if I did them in a more of a painted art style, rather than going in with full line art for them. You know? Because then I could be a lot looser with them. I've mentioned before that the only thing I'm good at oil painting is, like, Bob Ross forests. And in general, I think I just approach landscapes in a more realistic way versus my more cartoony anime-esque character work. Can't do that with the environment. You know, not how my brain thinks about it. And so yeah, maybe if I just stopped trying to do line work with my environments and just painted them instead, maybe it would yield better results. It's tough to do urban settings that way, though. But it is what it is, isn't it? I want to describe it particularly easy the way I'm doing it right now, so. Almost done with the line art, and then we get to the fun part. It's the colors, oh my god. Yeah, let me just get in the details for these whack-ass shoes. These sandal slippers. He absolutely gets into an argument with somebody like, oh, these are sandals. No, those are slippers. No, they're sandals. Look, they latch. No! These are crazy shoes. Where'd you get them? I don't know. Internet? What? Woo-wee! Almost done. Gotta add in the idea of some stripes. Yippee! A yippee yahoo! Color time, yippee. So let's get a layer in here so I can see what I'm doing. Classic Twins C layer. And now, the colors. I'm gonna start with everything I know, and we'll kind of work backwards, as it were. Urban settings, you mean blank background with a bit of shade, right? That's what I look at other, like, I look at manga and other comics and stuff. No one else is putting as much effort into backgrounds as me. Everyone else's backgrounds are white, with a little bit of shade, like how you just described. And I'm like, I should do that. What I'm doing is, I'm overcomplicating things way too much. But it is what it is, I guess. Okay, let's start with his hair. I've got the wrong. Let's start with his hair, because I know what I'm doing. Maybe. Jesus. There we go. Oh, Cranston. Okay, good. And the reason why we started with his hair was actually so I could make this gradient a little bit easier. But actually, I'm not even going to do a gradient. I'm going to stripe in. So I'm going to make a layer selection really quick. And... yeah, baby! Good shit, good shit. God damn. That's some cool hair right there. Yippee. Okay, now let's get his shirt going. Including the pattern I've got to add to his dang old kerchief here. Okay, okay. So it's got like big stripies at the bottom, short stripies at the top. The stripies are all also at an opacity, so I'll probably actually put it on its own layer to make my life easier. You got trees, all I can afford are open plains with some clouds in the sky. You know, I think about it, I'm like, I gotta have more comics happen in open plains. I gotta have more, like, Grim Magic chapters be like, oh, and then they conveniently did everything in a wide open field, you know? That was probably the one of the best chapters for me to draw, was that section in The Raven and the Ravens where they fight the Sun and Moon monsters, whose names I can never remember because they're in Arabic. Because that's what I chose to do for some reason. But yeah, they were in a wide open field to give the monsters plenty of room. That's why I chose that. Because I knew I wanted them to be huge. But I'm like, I should do that more. I watched Dragon Ball and I'm like, see, a Toriyama knew what's up. Here we go. Some stripes. We can actually make that even less. There we go. Cool. Cool, awesome. Great and good. Let's save. Those shoes, the shoes just appeared at his house one day. He didn't ask any questions because free shoes. You're so right. I love his ponytail. Doesn't it look good? I haven't drawn anyone with an open mouth yet. I'm going to incorporate this black into... Excuse me, I wanted to incorporate a black, not this lightish brown. Okay, there we go. Into the hair tie, but if I'm doing it right, his beak is so distinct. So I'm gonna try something, but I'm avoiding it for right now. And then also we can get this little pink color on his shoesies. And then the stripes are on the soles and along the pants. And now this is where I regret not doing real stripes, because now I've got to go in and do it just like manually, basically. Ah! Who was that? I just went, oh, like a different person. How to walk your dogs? I'm already coloring, yep. I do work fast, I know. I thought the beak would translate well into lipstick, yassify him. See, I've been thinking. I'm thinking, and it's just a matter of if I can do it. I've never been good at drawing lips to any degree. So let alone lipstick. But we're thinking a similar path. But hang on, let me get these pants in so I know what I'm doing. And then we've got to get a skin tone on him so we can get his very, very important face details. And I want him to be quite pale. We've got a pretty consistent pinkishy color. And I think I want to avoid mixing up his skin in that pink accent. So a little bit more of a yellow boy. Actually, I think I want him even paler than that, because Cranston is, you know, quite pale looking. And it's gonna make the mask elements pop really nicely. Actually, I think I want him to be wearing socks. It just feels right. Okay, cool. Okay. So let's get his eyes and his eyebrows. And also a mouth color in here. Okay. So I think I am going to give him his yellow sclera And these are actually blue, if you look closely, not black, which is nifty. There's blue pupils. And I'm gonna make another layer, just in case I fuck up. Alright. And suddenly Cranston goes from being a funny airhead to... He sees, like, ghosts, yeah? Spirits talk to him, I'm pretty sure. You know? So, you know, we're going to... Let's see if I can do this right. This is where I really fuck up. The ponytail is genius. Thank you. Okay. I'm scared. Let's hope I do it right. Actually, I want... Yeah. Here's hoping this doesn't look bad. It's looking pretty bad. Hang on. Let's trust the process for a second. And see what happens. I like where it's... I like the idea. I've done it wrong, though. Hang on. I can fix this. I don't trust the process. Can we just give him a real-ass beak? I don't think so. I think my life will be easier if I... I don't know if it looks good or not. I can't tell if it looks bad or not. Should I close his mouth? I think that would make things easier. I think that would help. You like it? Excellent. I like the idea of it. I think having his mouth be tiny and open is fighting against me. Maybe he wasn't. Hang on, let's go back. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it for right now. We'll return. We'll see how we feel. What if, actually, let me play real quick. What if we just, like, full send? No, that's worse. Okay. This is why you test things. Great. I think it's... Does it read as lipstick, though? Or does it just read like he's got shit on his lips? I'll leave it for now. I'll leave it for now. And we'll see how we feel as we progress forward. It's either that or, like, kind of just have makeup across his, kind of like, you know, kind of do like a, kind of a deal, you know? Which I like, I think I liked less. Yeah, I think it's working. I think the inside of his mouth isn't helping. Yeah, we're at that point where you gotta start really nitpicking bullshit. Let's shade the boy and see how we feel. You know, we get all the way down to the bottom and then look at him and see how we feel. Multiply, set it to 52 since that's what we've been doing. I'm stretching. I'm stretching. Okay. Yeah, that shadow is a little much. Or is it? Just a little bit. I'm not gonna actually shade his eyes. No, yes I am. Just a little bit though. I've said it before, and I'll say it a million times. I think seeing how different artists do ears is really fascinating. Cause like, it feels like nobody does it the same. Unless you're specifically trying to emulate somebody else. It's just one of those things where it's like, ears are such complicated weirdos that it's like, yeah, we all just do our best. We'll just do our best and it's like, yeah, it's, you know, a serviceable ear right there. I think maybe if the lipstick went all the way to the line under the mouth. What if I move the line up? Because otherwise I feel like it might be a little too much. I'll finish shading, and then we'll play with him more. Mostly just so that I don't need to recollect my, like, shading color, you know? Should have known Cranston would have been hard. Went in being like, I'm doing at least 2 today. And of course, the third one would be the difficult one. This is what bold decisions get you. Trouble. If I can pull it off well, it'll be really worth it though. It's just a question of if I can pull it off well. If you're not pushing yourself to try things that you're not good at, like, you know, we you know, it's always okay to scuff the edges a little bit. You know, I did draw sandals that look like this, you know? But if you stay in safe lanes for forever, you're never gonna improve. The hard part doesn't suddenly become easier just overnight. So you gotta push yourself sometimes. And it can be hard, but it can also be worth it. So don't be afraid. Yeah, and I don't know. Hopefully, because I feel like I see a lot of really good artists who even stream not let themselves struggle too much. It's easy to do the safe, easy thing forever. Especially since you get compliments when you do that. Oh. I think it's important to see that even professionals sit there and go, ah, this is tough. Oh man, I don't know what I'm doing here, you know. And I wouldn't call myself necessarily a professional. But, you know. sometimes it be like that. And so, yeah, just don't be afraid to try something new, even though it's hard and scary, because if I can be here on stream struggle bussing this much in front of all you guys, then you can absolutely struggle bus in your house in the comfort of your own home without an audience to worry about. I will say I think it's almost a boon I have you guys here, because I can bounce off of you. Usually I've got Allison at my disposal to be like, does this look good? You know, what do you think? But not everyone has a handy-dandy convenient BFF who also does art and lives with them, you know? I rarely draw ears, lol. Most of my characters are... What is this word? Fuck. Kemonomimi? What does that mean? Is that, like, kimono... Fuck my asshole. Kimono friends? Is that what it's called? What does that word mean? I'd like to learn, please. Yeah, even though I'll never be able to say it again. 'Cause I'm bad at talking. I will say though, okay, so I think it's interesting seeing how people draw ears, but also, I so prefer big long hair covering up ears. I like it on my characters, I like it on other people's characters. It's why also I think Uma Musume is so brilliant, because they hide where the girls' human ears would be, because they have their horsey ears. Like, all of them have their ears covered, and it's really smart. Versus other things that are like, I have a cat girl, and also she's got human ears, and it's like, why? Why'd you do that? Animal features on otherwise human characters like cat girls. I see! Fun stuff. Do you, what other than, like, kind of the normal collection of critters, so cat, dog, you know, those things, you know, the basic pretty kind of first choice options, which can be swell in their own right. Listen, I love cats. But what's your favorite kind of animal to make, like, to work with, would you say? What do you think is fun to play around with? Because I never do stuff like that. I'm always making, like, human designs of critters like these that you've watched me do today. And so I've actually got very little experience drawing cat girls and such. Even though when I was younger, here's cringe facts with twins. When I was younger, I used to imagine myself. So there's like me. It's like OC twins. I had cat ears. And it started as just cat ears and cat tail. So like, I always wore, I imagined myself with long sleeves. But then that had to change, because it started as just cat ears and cat tail, because I like cats. And then I'm like, oh, and I would have cat claws and like furry arms. So I could theoretically pet cute, like soft cat fur. And then, you know, I got my legs. And then like a cat tail. That's how I used to imagine myself. The fact that I am not actually a furry is flabbergasting. Hi, Mapafu, welcome. I'm drawing Cranston. How does this makeup look? Does this look okay? Does it look like makeup, or does it just look like he's got, like, shit on his face? Let me know. Twins but furry, exactly. I do commissions a lot, so I've drawn cat girls more times than I can count, I bet. It's so fun doing bats! Oh, bats is cool. Bats are so cool that they made me say it grammatically incorrectly there. He's just a little guy. He is a, oh, I'll also show you, I did Reneigh earlier. Wow, Reneigh. And then also I've done Sprocket. Wow, it's Sprocket. Wowee. And so we're finishing the day up with Cranston, but I've been struggle bussing with his lipstick. The eye makeup is good, but what about the lip makeup? That's the part I'm really worried about. I feel like it's just not reading well. Maybe if I go with a lighter color. I like the dark black, but I think lighter lighter makeup on the bottom lip could maybe help, question mark. I'm finishing the shading first. So, yeah, but, you know, I've been battling Cranston a little bit here. Sprocket, brah! Everyone likes Sprocket so much, and you know what? I gotta agree. I think he's my favorite so far. But Cranston, I think Cranston, you know, I gotta at least appreciate how much of a challenge it's been. It's been fun, kind of, a fun battle. How Goku-esque of me. She's been doing this boss fight for a while. I like that. I like putting art like that. Oh yeah, you played Elden Ring? I drew a human version of Cranston. Mapafu, also not to put you on the spot. Theoretically, if I were to ever ask you if we could play, what's it called? Among Us? How would that sound? I've never played Among Us. I think I'd like to at some point. I should also shade in the butterfly. So I think I'd like to at some point. Not right now. I've got kind of a lot going on right now, but I think at some point, I think I'd like to. So, I don't know. You can say no. Don't be afraid to say no. What's this emote? That sounds sick. Yippee! When my eye is no longer exploding out of my own skull, we'll have to, I'll message you and be like, hey fam, Amogus? Question mark? Let's make this makeup a little bit better. Where's my makeup layer? There it is. Dude, ew, gross. You get rid of the eyeshadow and it's like, that's not right. So I think we're onto something, and I think I'm onto something. I think we're onto something. With the bottom lip is actually where we're falling apart. Okay, and let me clean up this edge a little bit. And now let me dirty up that edge a little bit. Hang on. I'm thinking. I'm contemplating. I'm formulating. I think I might just be a little stupid. Fam, I figured it out. I did it. See, talking works. You can just ask. You're so right. I do want to get that black, the black of his beak in here somewhere, so I'm actually going to zhuzh up his eyeshadow on another layer so I don't fuck it up. Fancy, important looking boy. We did it, fam. We figured out how to make Cranston. Thank the Lord. What a successful stream so far. Now we just got a little bit of shine to him, which is hard because he actually has white hair, which is challenging to add, like, shine to and have it be visible. Hence why, if you look at me, my hair is technically a light gray. It's just so that I can get that shine in. I know some people, do shine on white hair with, like, another color. Which can be good. You know, kind of doing, like, a... And then it's, like, shine. It just doesn't look right to me. I don't know. I don't fuck with it. Every time I try, I'm like, it just doesn't. But, so... Pretty limited on his shine options then. So let's add a little bit of color to his eyes, since they're so noteworthy anyway. They're really the standout part of Cranston, if and I do say so myself. Yeah, I feel like when I do white hair, I either skip the highlights or it looks a bit silver. Exactly. But also, you know, as artists, I'm sure you also will be like, you'll have pants that are like that color, and then you still shade them even though it's invisible, and it's like, no one can see the shading on the pants. Because I definitely do. Because you'll be like, well, I know. I know that it's not shaded, and it'll annoy me. Or using the other color to kind of lightly, like, outline the highlight, maybe? Maybe? That's not a horrible idea. Is it working? I don't think it is. It was a great idea. I think a different artist could make it work. I think if I were on also use like a color burn kind of layer, but I kind of suck at those. And I think I've made enough bold choices with my art today. Let's add actually some spots to the butterfly. And we're gonna add a little bit of shine actually to his sandal slippers, just to give a little bit of something going on down here. Twins, I forget. Do you have a Discord server? I do. Uh oh, what did I click on? Okay, I do. I can message you about it. At some point today, assuming I don't forget. And it's Cranston! Wow, we did it. We survived. We survived the Cranstoning. That was tough. You twins, you forgot to put shine on that. Hashtag FFFF straight white. People will say a color code and it's like, I don't know what that is. I think he looks great. I think he looks pretty dang swell. I do still think Sprocket is winning. I think I peaked with Sprocket today, but I'm really happy with how Cranston ended up turning out. I think it looks like him. I'm glad I figured out how to make the makeup look right. So yippee for me. They all look awesome. They all do look pretty dang swell. So, yay! Woohoo! I did it. 3 whole dang characters. Reneigh your fave. She's pretty dang cool. Next up, we'll start with Rhonda and her bestie, Ketchup. And maybe we'll also get to Leopold. I don't know. I don't know when we'll do more art for these motherfuckers. But this has been a whole lot of fun. I'm glad you guys were here. It helped me whenever I needed help and tolerated me whenever I, did not need help. 3 whole dang characters on about an hour each, give or take. Cranston took a little extra time because I had to figure out what the fuck I was doing. Man, now I want to do Chibis on mine. It's fun! You should do it! Had a great time. Glad I found your page. It was nice seeing you in chat. I hope your debut later in the month goes super fly. I'll have to give you a looky-dee-doo and see how it all shakes down. You're fast with it. I probably will. It's fun, so you should. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Maybe I'll play some Animal Crossing in a little bit. I can't remember when Allison gets home. So, there might be a second stream later today, but I don't know. So, I guess keep your eyes peeled, but don't wait up for me, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Make smart choices, drink your vegetables, eat your water, and adios! I'll see you on the flip side. Goodbye! Oh wow, goodbye!